We've got the BMW X3, and we'd like to thank Portfolio by Open Road for lending us this vehicle. We'll tell you more about it in a second.
X3, one of the most popular small luxury SUVs. Let's get in, go for a drive. Andrea, do you know that BMW invented this whole category? They were the very first ones to come with a compact utility from a luxury brand.
And what did they name it, Zach?
They called it the X3.
They invented the name SAV.
Sport Activity Vehicle.
Yes.
So we're out for activities today, but first of all, Andrea, what's under the hood?
A 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with an 8-speed automatic transmission, 248 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque.
Or you can offer the one I would choose, which is the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder with 382 horsepower. There's also a 30E plug-in hybrid with 288 horsepower. Well, first of all, before we get into the hot topic, questions, coffee cars, fuel economy,
our competition,
price pause, it's all coming up. We have to do our key standard features.
The X3 comes standard with a 10.2-inch touchscreen with BMW's iDrive, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, electric seats with driver memory, heated leather-wrapped sports steering wheel, leather heated front sports seats, automatic climate control, driving assistant, LED headlights and taillights, LED fog lights, and 19-inch wheels.
I see here in the center console it says Eco, Comfort, Sport. There's another button. What is that?
We got to put it in S for subscribe. And if you can hit the notification bell, you'll get notified when the videos drop, and then you can watch them.
And if you hit subscribe and the bell right after each other, elves will wake up every single morning and wash your car. They guarantee it. We also have, as we mentioned, question, coffee, cars, and hot topic. And that's interactive with Instagram. Follow Andrea. It's Motormouth_Andrea. And for me, it's Motormouth_Auto. And the links are below if you missed that. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below. So we had an X5 years ago, and we are now in the X3. And you know what? This X3 is the same size as our original X5.
Isn't that weird? Everything has just gotten bigger now.
Yeah. By the way, we did an X5 video just a week or so ago. You can click on the card here. We talk about the X5, which is a wonderful vehicle, but this one's different. It's smaller than the current X5, and you notice it most in the width, right?
Yeah, it's definitely narrower. You can feel it in the seats. The seats are narrower for sure, and also the comfort level of the seats I found are quite different. These are firmer. What do you think, considering you have a bad back?
I actually like a firmer seat. I don't have a great back, so this is totally fine with me. Now, that X5 had the comfort seats. That was an option, which much more adjustment on those seats, and they're fantastic. We had them in our 7 Series years ago, and just beautiful. But this is a different price point and a different grade, and that's the one thing I would say about this vehicle is the grade of the interior is not the same as the X5.
No, not at all. Actually, Zach and I were thinking that the seats were leatherette. I looked further into it. They are leather seats, but just not that high caliber that you would see in the X5. But I have to say, it's kind of nice that BMW didn't do leatherette, and they did do leather.
They used to have leatherette. Yeah, their base interior used to be leatherette.
There is some hard plastic throughout the vehicle on the side door panels, a little bit at the center console, and I noticed in the back seat, which is quite spacious, that behind the front row seats there are no storage pockets.
So let's get into the back seat. That's one of the things I like about the X3 is it does offer quite a bit of legroom and headroom. I'm really surprised by how roomy it is, and as I mentioned, this is bigger than the original X5, which is crazy.
What I like about BMW is there's a lot of a la carte items. So if you don't want to get a package, this vehicle that we're driving right now has the essential package, and you get things like the panoramic sunroof, wireless charging. You also get keyless entry for the passenger and the driver. So there's some nice features within the package, but if you want to go the a la carte way, you can get the piano black center console for $400. So there are some options there, but you do need to get a package to get the panoramic sunroof.
So would you say this is kind of one up from the base, like the base model with just that package?
Yes, it is.
Actually, it's very nicely equipped.
Yeah, and I think it it's everything that you need.
Yeah.
But when you look at other vehicles that this competes against, like for example, the GLC, the interior is much more luxurious in it.
The interesting thing is that GLC is on its last legs. There's going to be a new one coming later this year.
Crazy.
So that will be definitely nice. So you have these digital projected speedo and tachometer and the stuff below that built in around these chrome inserts. It's strange how they do it.
It's very different. I do like the sports steering wheel on this. It's super comfortable on the hands, soft. Shall we get into the exterior a little bit?
Now, before we do that, Andrea, I want to talk about Portfolio by Open Road. They lent us this car for a day or so, and that's the great thing. If you want to test a bunch of different brands and do it for one monthly fee, you can do that with Portfolio.
Yep.
It's basically you can swap your car twice a month or even once a week.
Yeah, they have different packages that you can do that, whatever you decide. There are different levels.
And the insurance is included.
Insurance is included, and the people at Portfolio are just so wonderful and kind. I mean, they've been so easy to deal with, so we're continuing to work with them. One thing I like about the exterior of this X3 is the designers haven't gotten a hold of it yet to say, let's get a bigger grill.
The big snout?
Yeah, this grill is quite nice. I think it suits the X3, and it's just an all-around pleasant looking vehicle.
Now this is really coming home because the same week we have the X3, we also have the new 4 Series with the big snout.
Yeah.
And at first I looked at it and I was like, it's ridiculous looking in pictures, but in person, I've really kind of warmed to it. I kind of like it. So I'm not sure it would work so well on this, but anyway, I think you're right. This is very clean and simple.
Yes.
All right, you know what we need to do, Andrea? Because I'm already jacked up because I'm in an activity vehicle.
I know his activity level is very high today. He's hyped.
I know what the activity is next, drinking more coffee.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Can you address reliability? I hear only negative points about BMW based on owners constantly at the dealership for repairs. Well, here's the thing.
Tell us, Andrea, what's the thing?
I'm going to quote the JD Power Dependability Study. And although BMW is not at the top, it is just below Acura at 11th place.
It's not bad considering
it's not bad.
There's 30-something different brands.
So yes, for sure. So here's the thing. I think it depends from year to year, new models that come out. Some have more problems than others. So it's tough, don't you think, with the reliability and dependability?
These are fantastic vehicles to lease. You get them for 3 or 4 years. And in Canada, 4 years of service is included. So that's a big relief. You know, you don't have any extra payments for service. So yeah, it's, I don't know. I mean, listen, if that is your number one concern about buying an X3 or not, then maybe it's not for you.
Yeah, maybe the German brands aren't for you.
Like, listen, go down to Lexus and they'll give you a nice, reliable car. If you want something different, this might be for you.
Yes. Beautiful looking SUV. Granted, the technology and sophistication is paramount in the X3. Has BMW taken a sidestep to their original mantra of the ultimate driving machine for the sake of market demands? Wow.
That was a mouthful.
I know. So I don't think so. 85% of sales are either utilities or trucks. So I think that these manufacturers have to kind of go with the flow. This is what consumers want. One thing about BMW, their engines are terrific. The handling is exciting, the steering precise. I think they've done a good job on this.
Listen, the ultimate driving machine depends on your budget. Listen, if you want to get an M3, that's going to be more ultimate than this. There's no question about it. But as Andrea mentioned, 85% of the market is now utilities and trucks. They have to make these all-rounders, good for a lot of people, and they've done that.
They've done it well. I have an X1 now. Thinking about upgrading to an X3, is the size difference worth the upgrade? Well, difference in price too. The X1 is just under $40,000, which is pretty good value for a luxury brand when you're just getting into the market. But for sure, there's a huge difference in the size.
Now, back to the previous question about a driving machine, the ultimate driving machine. The X1 is more of a driver's car because it's smaller, it's nimble, it shares the platform with Mini. Minis are also driving machines, they're great handling. So with that X1, you get a combination of Mini and BMW engineering, making it a much more nimble car. So if that's what you want, that's the one you should stick with.
How does it compare to the RDX? Well, the RDX is a little bit bigger, would you say?
Yeah, a bit bigger.
Price-wise, obviously, a different price, $44,450.
That's a good deal.
It's a good deal.
Listen, I've gone on record many times saying the best value compact premium SUV is the RDX. You can't touch it for horsepower, for space, and for price.
272 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. It's a good engine, and it drives really well.
Yeah, but it's not a BMW.
It's not a BMW. It's an Acura. And Acura is number 10 on the list.
Well, wait till they get a Type S RDX. Now, that would be something.
That would be fun. And that's it. Thank you so much for your questions. Every week, it's hard to choose.
All right. If you want to get a question in, make sure you follow Andrea. It's Motormouth_Andrea. The link is below if you missed that. And because you hear the music, that means it's time for Nightlife. You know what? I think this vehicle is perfectly calibrated for everyday city use. The way the engine delivers the power, it's great for low speed and mid-range torque, which is what you use in the city, traffic light to traffic light. However, I find on the highway for passing speeds, it can run out of breath a little bit, but as an everyday commuter, they did a really good job.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, this X3 has less horsepower and torque than some of its competition, but it works so well together that you don't feel that lack of power. The steering is so responsive.
That's the highlight of the vehicle, right?
It's just incredible. It takes corners with ease. The turning radius is excellent. I applaud BMW just for the driving dynamics of this X3.
If you can afford it, do yourself a favor. You get all of that with the inline 6-cylinder engine. That's called the X340i. That's the inline 6-cylinder. That engine is nothing short of a masterpiece. And when you take that engine in this product with the handling, now you're onto something.
Nice.
Let's have a look at what else is out there in the market.
For your consideration, 4 categories and 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Here are 4 different competitors. The Mercedes-Benz GLC has a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbo engine with a 9-speed automatic transmission. It has 255 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. It has a starting price of almost $50,000.
Next up is the Audi Q5. It also has a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine and a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. It has 261 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque with a starting price of just over $46,500, and the Q5 is the best-selling compact luxury SUV in the country.
The third competitor goes to the Porsche Macan. It has a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 with a 7-speed PDK dual-clutch transmission. It has 248 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. It has a starting price of $57,500.
Now, the Japanese alternative goes to the Acura RDX. It has a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine with a 10-speed automatic transmission. It has the most power of the bunch at 272 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque, and it has a starting price of $44,500. So there are 4 vehicles for you to consider. Now, in each review, we take 1 or 2 questions from Questions, Coffee, and Cars and expand on it. We call it our hot topic. What's up, Andrea?
Have you noticed a shift in buyer behavior away from BMW towards Audi? Of the Q5 and X3, in your opinion, which of the 2 offers better overall value as far as the owner experience? Now that is a really good question. What a great hot topic. So the Q5 is less expensive than the X3. It's $46,500 as a starting price, and this X3 starts at just over $52,000. So there's good value there for sure, but keep in mind BMW offers its free scheduled maintenance for 4 years, and for some people, knowing that they don't have to pay anything for 4 years might make a big difference to them.
But that's $6,000 difference. Regular scheduled maintenance over 4 years isn't going to cost $6,000.
No.
So do the math on that. Now, Andrea, the one thing about the Q5, it is the best-selling premium small SUV in Canada, in my opinion, is the best all-rounder.
Yes.
It does everything really well. It doesn't really excel in one area, where this excels in handling.
For sure. But I think that they both drive really well. I mean, they're both good performance vehicles and they handle well. I don't think that you would be disappointed with either of them.
Well, while we're at it, we're talking about pricing. Why don't we get into our price pause for this?
The X3 starts at $52,550. Price as tested, $58,345. While we're at it, let's do the fuel economy. The X3 gets 11 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 8 liters on the highway, and 9.3 liters combined. The towing capacity is up to 4,400 pounds.
Okay, Andrea, final thoughts on the X3.
I am so impressed by this X3 for its driving dynamics, its precise steering. It's really good.
It's a great everyday commuter. Once again, thanks again to Portfolio by Open Road for lending us this vehicle for the day. Thank you very much. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.